Hello and welcome to another 1UP 3D Blender tutorial. In this tutorial we will be making a pine tree bark texture. I'm going to start by that. Open up Gimp and go into New. Going 1000, 1000. And we will change the fill width to transparency. We'll hit OK. The first thing we're going to do is make our pattern here. This can be kind of a pine tree with we're going to almost draw scales here, so I'm going to do it with the lasso tool. Actually, I'm going to use the paintbrush tool. I'm going to change the size to about, I'll try 15. Right, that'll work. And we're going to draw out these kind of random long shapes like that. You want it to be pretty random in size and shape. We'll just do that until we have filled the image. So I'm going to pause it while I finish that. Alright, we're back and we've filled in the image with this pattern, and we're going to take the paint bucket, start dumping black in there. You'll have to click it twice to get it to not leave these white lines. And you'll need to make sure that you fill these in, that there aren't any gaps, otherwise it'll fill the whole thing. Alright, I already use the color select tool. Select the black. We'll create a new layer of transparency, and we'll find a dark brown color. Somewhere in here is good. Don't want it too bright. We'll dump that. Control Shift A to deselect. I'll hit New Layer, Transparency, and we'll add a light brown. Make another new layer, and kind of a very dark brown. One more, a kind of grayish color. Right? And we're going to use the lasso tool to kind of dice these up, just like this. Hit Enter to select. And I'm going to do that a little bit more. Alright. Now I'm going to go to Blur, Gaussian Blur. I have a lot of extra filters because I have some plugins, so all the ones that I'm using you'll have, but just don't be confused or think you're missing something because of all the ones I have. I'm going to make that 150. That should be about right. Hit OK. Now I'm going to go to Filters, Noise, HSV Noise. I'm going to turn these up until I can see a decent amount of noise in there. There we go. And I'll repeat that process on these other two layers. I'm going to pause while I do that to save time. Alright, we've repeated that process on all the layers we just created. What we're going to do is select the transparency on either one of these layers, and we're going to go up to these layers and hit delete, deleting in between the pattern. Okay. And now we're going to add 2 more layers. These are going to be grays. We're going to be doing a similar process to them, just with a couple steps different. So just walk you through that with this layer. So we're going to chop this layer up just like we did the last ones. Probably a little bit more than those. Yeah, more still, sorry. Alright, that should be good. Gonna go to Gaussian blur again. This time we're gonna do about 75. So you want these to maintain shape. So I'm gonna go until I can still see them there. So they're still defined, as you can see there. I'm gonna add noise to those as well. And I'm gonna repeat that process on this layer. Pause while I do that. Alright. Now we're gonna select the transparency again and delete it on those layers. So there we go. Now we're going to merge these down. Alright, and then we're going to add another layer. We'll hide that top one. And we're going to select a kind of gray here. This one should work. We're going to add a couple more layers. We'll want one to be of a brown. And we'll want a dark gray in there. And we'll see how it works with just these two extra layers. And we'll chop them up a little less than we did the other ones. That should be good. And blur those as well. I'm going to blur these more, so I'm going to try 200. Looks about right. And we'll add noise. We'll repeat this process on this other layer. Alright, we've done that. And I'm going to make this layer visible again just to look and see how it's looking. If you want that a little more gray, you can go ahead and add another kind of gray layer. But what we're going to do now is merge these down. We're going to go to Filters, Map, Bump Map. We're going to use this layer on itself. Change this to spherical. Move this up a little bit. Alright. Now we're going to do the same to this layer. Actually, we're not going to do that to that layer just because it's creating a dark line. So we're going to merge this down. Hide that. Make this background layer visible again. Add a new layer. Doesn't seem to like to work for me. If you're wondering why it's just not working, me dragging this down for some reason while I'm recording, it just won't let me drag layers around. So I'm going to dump a layer of white. I'm going to blur this by about 15, I think. Maybe 20. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, sorry about that. Stopped there. I ran out of my 10 minutes, so um, we're gonna have to redo this blur again. I did it a little bit too much. Oop, wrong layer. Sorry about that. We'll do that 5. And then we're gonna add some noise, just so it doesn't give us really stark lines when we blur it. And we'll do 10 this time. Alright, now we're going to go back to our main layer, filters, map. Actually, first we need to merge this down. Need to add a new layer of white, and we're going to render that to difference clouds. We're going to turn the detail up to 15 and randomize it. Alright. Turn this down. Seems about right there. We're going to go back to bump map, select the cloud layer, change this to sinusoidal, turn that up quite a bit. Actually, looking at this, I did that last bump map wrong. We got to invert it. So we'll just click invert. There we go. We'll go back to bump mapping the cloud layer. Turn it up as much as you like. Do you think it looks good? And we'll stop there. Now our last step is to go to map, make seamless. There we go. Now I'll export that. Oops, sorry. Alright, and now I'm going to set up a scene in Blender to show you how it looks. Alright, I'm setting up the texture on this cylinder here to kind of show what it'll look like on a tree trunk. Alright. You might need to scale it depending on the size. Let's see here. Looks pretty good. You'll want to watch that it's not getting stretched too much. There we go. So yeah, there's a pine tree texture. Let me know if you have any questions or any other textures you'd like me to make. I believe my next texture will be like an oak, kind of a general tree other than pine. So if there's anything else that you guys are wanting to see, just let me know. I'll try to make a tutorial on it. Well, I'll see you next time.